want to do a little project that's so easy, and this has just 3 or 4 elements in it basically. Now I do have a little batting back here, about a 4.5 by 5. I have a little piece of torn white linen on top. Then I have some gauzy fabric that I layered up and cut leaves out of. I have a little bit of this watercolored trim that I use for the stem. Okay. And I have some scarf material here that I cut and squinched up to make a flower, and then a little stamen in there. A little piece of torn cotton fabric just to stick in there for a little contrast, to kind of make the rest of the leafy stuff pop a little bit more. That's it. That's all that's in there. And just going to simply stitch it down with an overcast stitch. That overcast or running stitch, nothing fancy, no embroidery or anything like that. Just going to stitch it down. And let me see, I'm going to stick another couple pins in this flower so it doesn't come unarranged. That, like I said, that's just squinched up. There's 3 smaller pieces squinched up and laid around to look like a flower. That's really, if you use something soft and supple like a scarf material, that works really well. That fabric just really will do it well. And this one was, if you noticed, it had the kind of open weave part of it and then some solid, so that really squinched really good. Make a pretty little flower. And using the what's called fabric ephemera. Now fabric ephemera is pretty much basically bits and pieces, fabrics and textiles that you use to create items, little pieces that might, we would call them scraps, and might not have value on their own until they're done. You've done something with them. It's called fabric ephemera. And so if you learn to create with your fabric ephemera, am I saying that correctly? You can create all kinds of little wonderful little things for junk journals and needle case kits and just anything, pouches, cute little embellishments, little art pieces to frame, just whatever, you can do that. And with the simplest thing, like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 elements. That's all I have here fabric wise. Well, I actually have the linen and the batting, but in the little flower element, that's all I have. It's going to make a pretty little floral piece. Now, what is good about making little items out of your fabric ephemera is I call these my little inspiration pieces. I make them, put them in a drawer. Sometimes I don't have, most of the time, in fact, I don't have a project for them at the time, but I know that I will use them. I use everything over time. And it's so wonderful to have them made up and there. So when you want to add something, for instance, this would be a beautiful little pocket added to any garment that you wanted, to a pillow. This would be beautiful added to a junk journal. This would be a beautiful little cover for a fabric book. It's just on and on and on. Could put it on one of my pouches as a decoration. The fact is, though, that it's already made. It's sitting in the drawer. And when I need something to embellish, there it is. It's done. And it's so nice to just relax and make something small out of your little fabric ephemera, your little scraps, that you know that you're going to use down the road. It's going to be an integral part of something later on. And you're not always having to create when maybe you're just not in the creative mode. You just want to be able to find something that works. And look, you open your drawer and there's all these wonderful little pieces. I have several of those. For instance, here's one right here. I haven't decided what to do with that yet, but isn't that a gorgeous little piece? It'll be ready when I want to do something with it. And it's just very creative. Now this little piece I'm sewing right now was not cut into a leaf shape. It was a scrap left over when I did cut the leaf shapes. So I took the little scrap, folded it over, and I'm just sewing it on. Looks more like just a little weedy part of this little flower here. It doesn't have a strong shape to it like a leaf or anything. I'm using a coordinated green thread, embroidery floss, 2 strands, just to overcast these edges because this is very fine fabric and it will unravel totally if you don't kind of protect it a little bit. And I have, if you have layers on top of each other, be sure to sew your separate layers. Otherwise, they'll unravel on you. Using your fabric ephemera. You know, I didn't even know that was a term until not long ago, and I ran across it. And I thought it applied only to actually, you know, paper, things like that, vintage things that mostly was in the paper arena, letters. But, you know, I know ephemera has to do a lot with vintage labels, all kinds of things. But it actually is a term, fabric ephemera. It's just a nice, fancy way to say scraps. So now I can say I'm a lady that works with fabric ephemera. Another thing about the little projects like this, these are a no-brainer that you don't really think about them. You just kind of create on the fly and relaxing, totally relaxing. This is going to be so pretty. I don't know on what yet, but it's going to be pretty when it gets there. You'll see it again sometime down the road when I've decided what I'm going to incorporate it on. I'm going to sew this leaf over the edge of the flower here. Kind of when you collage, you kind of just go over and under things. And we are going to have to take one more stitch and then tie off this thread. So we've got a beginning on the sewing now. Isn't that cute? That is just so cute. I just love it, love it. The little stamens, what I did was I just took a regular stamen and I twisted it over to put it down, slip it down under that fabric. And that little circle hidden under there, I can feel it. And I can sew through that, which will help to secure that really well, and it won't come out. And it will make that little center for that flower look good there. All right. What do you think? Isn't that a cute little doable project? Grab some of your fabric ephemera and make something pretty.